What's up? It's good to finally be back. I've had a couple of different personal things and things at work that have kind of kept me from recording, but I am back, man. So excited to finally just give you some thoughts on things that I'm seeing and things that I'm reacting to and different things. And so I figured, what better place to start? It's Thursday, February 12th. And yeah, what better place to start than the Super Bowl, right? I'm a Patriots fan, so the game itself, man, whatever. It is what it is, man. That was an awful game. Think you didn't get a touchdown until like the beginning of the fourth quarter. And so as a Patriots fan, I heard it from everybody. I talked a lot of smack leading up to the game. I didn't think that we would win, but you're supporting your team, so I thought it would be tight if we did. But everybody's just talking about the halftime show post game anyway. And so I just wanted to give you my thoughts on it. I got a chance to watch both of the halftime shows after the fact. While we were live, I was with my family, and we ended up switching from the Bad Bunny halftime show to TPUSA to then we ended up just settling on watching the Olympics and kind of just flipping through all three at different points and different parts and things. I think it was overall, like, watching both of the shows, I was entertained by both, actually. I didn't think either one was like egregiously unentertaining or uninspiring. But I did want to give you my thoughts just a little bit as, a believer, as a pastor, as a Christian, especially after the fact. I think, the biggest takeaway that I think coming out of the halftime shows for me was that this really wasn't an alternative. And what I mean by that is the content of Bad Bunny's music is awful. It's atrocious. If you look at the translated lyrics from Bad Bunny songs, it's awful. He is singing and rapping about a ton of terrible things. But when you look at the lyrics of some of these artists that TPUSA had, I'm not saying it's one-to-one worse, but what I am saying is it's more of the same. It's a flip side of the same coin. Kid Rock opened with Bob with the Bob, and man, that song, it is about as crazy as you get when it comes to debauchery and just craziness, and I don't think anybody's expecting that. But then, Kid Rock's his second song was a Cody Johnson cover where he's talking about Jesus. And I think it's just the whiplash of, hey, you want to sing about Jesus? That's great. I think it's a win. That last verse was really cool, where he's talking about Jesus and picking up your Bible and coming back to him. I think that's great. But you're still doing the music that promotes all the craziness that you're saying that you're trying to create an alternative from, and it's just, to me, it's not a good look. And if you're a Christian watching it and you're celebrating TPUSA for what they did, but you're, condemning Bad Bunny for what he did, I would take a look at that, because it's not that much different. The only difference is that it's music that you're not familiar with. It's an artist that you might not agree with. It's somebody who probably doesn't have the same values as you do. And especially as Christians, I think we have to really be careful with aligning ourselves with people who agree with us or maybe share some of the same values, but in turn are not actually trying to push the mission of Jesus forward. If Kid Rock was truly, and I don't know where he's at with Jesus, but if he was truly following Jesus, I don't think you perform the song that he opened with, unless he knows that that's his most well-known song. That's the song that everybody's going to be expecting out of him. And I'm sure he's performed it a lot, and he knows kind of where it is, and it's easy for him. And so, but it's not actually Christian. There was nothing about TPUSA that made me feel closer to my faith. I mean, there were some mentions of Jesus. There were some mentions of being, good old Southern Christian at church and all this stuff. But it comes across as just pandering a lot of the time. at least the way that I see it. You could talk about country music being pandering anyway and all of that, but I think we just have to be really careful with that. I do think that TPUSA visually, I think is something I would feel more comfortable watching with my family, especially now that I have, kids of my own and different things like that. Like, I think it's important that, we aren't looking at girls twerking, or, all this dancing and promiscuous, dressed and all this stuff. Like, I don't think we need to be taking that, especially when the Super Bowl is watched by so many families. It's not family friendly content, but a lot of families are around their TV watching it. And so, like, I think some of those elements I appreciated. I appreciated some of the production elements. I think some of the lasers, some of the lighting things that they did were really, really cool, actually. I thought some of those laser lights in the man, I can't remember her name, but the female artist, as she was performing, I thought those were really cool. I thought Kid Rock's opening, I thought those lights were really cool, as that was, hyped up until he came out and did all that stuff. I thought that was really cool. I really appreciated that about, TPUSA's halftime show. When it comes to Bad Bunnies, I thought, the storytelling element was really cool. The celebration of that Latin heritage and those kind of things, I thought was a really cool thing just from a set piece. I actually saw a TikTok of somebody showing what it looked like in the crowd, and of course it was full of hedges, which were humans. And so you actually didn't see anything, so you were still watching the screen. So all those people who paid thousands of dollars for tickets, I hope you enjoyed the game, because the halftime show you didn't really get to see much from it. But yeah, man, I think we just really have to be careful that we're not celebrating one type of sin or being permissive with one type of sin just because they might have a better moral framework, or one that we would agree with more. I think we have to really be careful that we're not siding with people simply because they agree with us or they're more friendly to our faith. I think we have to really stand on our principles and really stand on our convictions. And so if you had a problem with promiscuous dancing, if you had a problem with debauchery, if you had a problem with bad lyrics, and then you went to TPUSA, I'm not saying there was a one-to-one thing. I think that would be ridiculous, but it is the same thing. And it wasn't really the alternative that I think a lot of people would have liked to see. I would have loved to see Corey Asbury and Forrest Frank. I know they were the ones who kind of initially dropped the idea of doing an alternative thing. I would have loved to have seen that. I like both of their music. I think they would have kept the focus on Jesus and on their faith and that kind of stuff. But yeah, let me know what you thought. What halftime show did you watch? What did you think? Did you go back and watch any of them? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So let me know. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.